1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good morning. It's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief for the 16th of February. The current time is 7:45, and pretty quiet last night with the President's Day holiday. Obviously all the markets were closed there in the US. So the local market will take its lead from Europe, which was quite positive. I've had a little bit of talk last night, obviously, concerning the Greece, but really didn't do too much to the markets. Anyway, let's just have a quick brief look at where things are. Okay, just looking at it now, I guess the most important news was that the EU seeks disclosure on swaps, which was a concern for them. That's obviously with the debt crisis, sovereign debt crisis in Greece. It failed to do too much. The euro was a little bit weaker, but not too much weaker. And I guess probably that's the main news of the evening. Looking around Europe and what's actually happened, the Stoic 50 was up 9.37, 2006.83. The FTSE was up 25 at 5167, and the DAX was up 10 at 5,511. The CAC 40 was up 10 at 3,609. So if anything, they're relatively positive. So our local market which closed around 4,529, down 4 points. We might get a little bit of support there. Anyway, we might get support also to see how some of those commodities actually traded. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the currencies. The currency markets there. I guess the most important one, the US dollar index, 80.41, and that's up just a fraction on yesterday. And as you can see, the dollar is holding this gain up at this top end, and it's going to be quite interesting to see whether the bulls and the bears are going to win on this one, because it is holding on to this, and that's normally a sign that things are relatively positive for the dollar. But as we can see, gold's moving up, oil's moving up, all these things are occurring. So it's going to be quite an interesting tussle. Anyway, keep an eye on that dollar index on a breakthrough 80.20, that area there, because that'll mean that we've broken this trend, which started way back at 78.80. So keep a close eye on that. As mentioned, the euro, 135.99, that's down 32. The dollar yen, down only 1 at 89.97. Little Aussie battler looking good and looking quite firm too. If we take out that high 89.20 to 30, then we could see it trade higher. Remember, we've got some confidence numbers today in Australia, and if anything there, that might sort of see just a little bit of, if they are positive numbers, a little bit of pressure there on interest rates, and we might see that Aussie trade higher. Anyway, let's stay close to that. So currencies, not a lot happening, but if anything there, just a touch firmer. Having a look at the precious metal markets, gold regained the 1100 handle, which was quite positive, up $7.40, and looking quite strong there, as you can see. That's a breach and pullback, and probably expected to reach through that 1110, 1120 in sometime soon. Silver, 1552. That's up a fraction. Platinum was up $5 at 1514. Palladium was up $3.30 at 420.55. So the precious metal complex a little bit better bid. Having a look at some of the base metals, copper was up $2 at 309.85. Crude on the energy sector, that was down 13 at 73.96. And as you can see by looking at the chart there on crude, it's just marking time. We do have the API data coming out pretty soon, so that's going to be quite important. But I think it's a little bit mixed, but this looks like a positive sign for me. And obviously if we can take out that 74.50, then we'll regain those highs of the other day up through 75.90 and so forth. But at the moment, things still look quite positive. For crude, I will revise if we break through that 72.65. On the softs, corn was up a half at 362. Soybeans are up 1 at 9.46, and wheat was up, down 0.75 cents at 4.86. So that in itself, yeah, just a little bit marking time. Now, on terms of the economic data today, and the most important, obviously, in Australia, we got the Reserve Bank Board February minutes, NAB consumer confidence. We've got Belly speaking, that's the Australian Central Bank official, one of them, so that'll be quite important. EU new car registrations, which I think will give us a bit of a key on how that's tracking. We've got the ZEW survey, economic sentiment, that's in Europe and Germany, which is going to be quite important. CPI data out of Great Britain, retail prices, all important there. We've got TICS data in the States, Empire Manufacturing, and we've got all the governors, or a lot of the governors of the Fed actually speaking. It'll be interesting to see what sort of turn they have in terms of what the IMF mentioned concerning keeping inflation, a little measure mark of inflation there to help economies move. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually occurs, or how they actually take that spin. So we'll be keeping quite tuned there, because that will help dictate what the Fed actually have to say in the FOMC meeting later on in the week. So quite interesting on that front. Okay, let's. I think that's about it. That's about it for today. I hope everyone has a good day. Remember, we're still long gold, we're still long Aussie, long the grains and oil. So up until that changes, we'll stick with that. But have a good day, happy trading, and we'll talk to you soon.